Why I accepted to be Buhari's minister despite forcing me into exile as military head of state, ex-UIVC Isaac Adewale. Good morning everyone, and thank you for tuning in and listening to this headline we brought for you this morning. As our headline for this morning says that why I accepted to be Buhari's minister despite forcing me into exile as military head of state, ex-UIVC Isaac Adewale. It says, former Minister of Health and Eastwal Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor Isaac Florenshaw Adewale, speaks with Shade Oguntola on the life and career, including his time as Minister of Health under former President Muhammadu Buhari. How does it feel for one to be 70? Well, it will be 70 on Sunday tomorrow. I don't know, honestly. I think 70 is just a number. As far as I'm concerned, and that number donates when I will retire. But I am not retired. I am not tired. So I will continue to function, only in a different capacity. You have come a long way and achieved a lot. Why do you think it is the greatest achievement you made in the courses of your career? That is a tough question. My greatest achievement is knowing God, and no other achievement can surpass that. But if you are talking about achievements in terms of career, my greatest achievement was the introduction of my basic healthcare provision fund, which I regarded as the game changer in terms of funding healthcare system in Nigeria. The National Basic Healthcare Provision Fund was passed by the president in 2014. But we could not find money. Even Bill Gates decided to give us some support. The World Bank also offered to give us support, but God used former Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki. We had a breakfast meeting and I told him about our problems, that we needed to change the narrative with respect to funding healthcare in Nigeria. And he promised to put in the budget, and he did. That to me is probably the single most important achievement my tenure as a minister. As a consultant obstetric and gynecologic, as a consultant obstetric and a gynecologist, was that your greatest achievement? As an OG, the greatest achievement is God, and that is to those babies who walk around and smile, especially for women who suffered infertility. Nothing can be more satisfying than seeing them. I have lost count of numbers of deliveries, and I was involved in the cause of the care of women. Did you ever think you would be this successful while growing up? Except one is a prophet, nobody will ever dream of such. When I was growing up, I only dreamt to be a doctor. That to me was the achievement I wanted. My horizon was limited. When I became a doctor, I wanted to be an academics, and in academics, all I was aspiring to be was a professor. When I became the head of department, I said, oh, wait a minute. I could also be the dean of the faculty. When I became dean, I saw the possibility of becoming a provost. As a provost, I thought of becoming the vice chancellor. But that was not all. I never dreamt for one day I would be a minister. What made you want to be a doctor and not an engineer? I think I was divine for the two reasons. My family had a close relationship with the workers at Wesley Guide Hospital in Leicester. They used to visit dad and mom, particularly on Sunday, when daddy would with 30 friends and relations on Sunday. On a Sunday afternoon with pounded yam and egusi soup and bushmeat. Once in a while, I also visited them at Wesley Guide Hospital, and I think I was fascinated by the beautiful environment of the hospital. Then I would come to my father's shop, lock myself in, and pretend to be running in a clinic. I I would be calling imaginary patients and asking them to come for injection and on their cards. One of my uncles said this boy will probably be a doctor. He narrated this to me vividly when I enrolled at the University of Ibadan as a medical student. He said that they had suspicion that I would end up being a medical doctor because I already practiced medicines in the barber shop when I was young. How did you feel when you were announced a minister? Let me be honest. I didn't expect to be appointed as minister. It came as a surprise, and it is a pleasant one because someone had earlier told me that the position was not meant for me and that it was a mark for somebody else, so my mind was off it. There was myriad of speculations that I might get a ministerial appointment. I made contact with somebody in the presidency who said that the position was meant for somebody else, so I took my mind off of it. What was it like working as a minister under General Muhammadu Buhari, who railroaded you into exile in the early 80s? Well, it was quite interesting. Let me put it into two broad perspectives. When I went into exile, I simply because I was a unionist and the government of the day, which he headed, said that they would get us dead or alive. I had to run away through some votes, which I will never tell anyone. It is in my memories that I went abroad, but I was not too detained about the description. I later came back. I guess time has a way of blotting out memories, and when I was appointed to serve as minister, I had some hesitancy and I had some trouble moments. My interaction with him, however, gave me a vivid picture of a different person. I have a whole chapter in my autobiography, which I am going to launch in May 5, 2024, where I say he was a misunderstood president. I kept a diary of things I could find about him. I discovered that President Buhari was quite a jollical person in office, very intelligent, strict, and punctual to a fault. He is kind and nice. He supported me as a health minister, and I documented that in my autobiography. It is a whole chapter on him. But one would have thought you would have reservation expecting such an offer from him. Yes, I said so. Initially, I had some trouble moments, but then time is a great healer. We are talking about 1985. I served him almost 30 years later. I wounded had healed. That the wound had healed. I had almost forgotten even people that he jailed worked for him, because time is the greatest physician. And that is not all, but what we can say concerning this headline saying why I accepted to be Buhari's minister despite forcing me into exile as military head of state. XUIVC Isaac Adewale said all this. Like I said, like as you can read down here, this is the interview with Mr. Adewale. They said they asked him a lot of questions concerning his biography, concerning why he still became why he accepted the Buhari's minister, like he accepted the why he accepted to be Buhari's minister. Besides Buhari's forcing him into exile when Buhari was military head of state, he said a lot of things, and he said he will be turning 70 tomorrow, Sunday. So he's glad being 70 years old now. They also asked him how being 70 would feel. He answered that to some other question that was said under this headline. Then he said a lot of things concerning Buhari that he didn't know that he would become minister. For Buhari to appointed him was a very shocking moment. And he saw that it was a matter of time when Buhari was minister of head of state. So when he was a civilian president, he called him and said, "You have to be my minister." So he was like, wow, Buhari has really changed. He's now a joyal person. So he was like, yeah, time is a very good physician. So that was one of the main things that made him accept being minister under Buhari's regime. He said he answered a lot of questions that you guys should maybe. He said he answered a lot of questions concerning this headline that I just read earlier, and I would like to hear your thoughts concerning this. What do you guys think? I want you to drop your comment in the comment section, and don't forget